Welcome to the Wrestling Wrap-Up presented by the Anything But Credible Network. It's your boys, Tricky and Thomas. Thomas, how you doing?
I am doing peachy keen.
How is it in Colorado right now? Is it hot still?
It's blazing hot. Yeah, and I think I've said this on the show before, but I much prefer humidity if I'm gonna be in heat, and like the dry heat is just terrible to me. I can't breathe. I know a lot of people say they can't breathe in humidity, but I'm like, no, I can't breathe in the dry heat. It's like being in an oven.
No, it's the worst. There was like that here a few weeks ago where it's like you go to breathe and it's just like a fireball is hitting you in the face. And like, I can't breathe.
Yeah.
Like
Awful.
No, it was miserable. But there's
Yeah.
been some wild, crazy shit going on in wrestling. I mean, I feel like there's just drama everywhere we turn right now.
I think that's totally fair. And I was just thinking, like, as much as it helps us run this podcast, I kind of miss the days of not knowing anything. You know what I mean? Like, I miss that innocence.
Dude, for real. And it's like, we'll get into it a little bit. We're going to change up the format here a little bit, but it's like, what's real, what's not real? Is AEW working the fuck out of us right now with like a lot of shit going on, which it kind of seems like it. Yep. WWE is just kind of like, people were praising Triple H, and now it's kind of they're not praising Triple H, and it's like, what is going on? Like it's
yeah, man,
it's pandemonium here in the Coliseum.
It is upending everything. Yeah, it's been very, very dramatic, very newsworthy, but also just a ton. I know you saw just a ton of rumors that don't make any sense too. Just like, what are we doing here?
Oh, I like the one rumor that came out today that Miro and Malachi Black asked for their release from AEW, but the funniest part about it was a bunch of wrestling journalists, like real wrestling journalists, picked up on the story because they thought Dave Meltzer tweeted it out. But if you look at the name, the M and the T are switched, so it's totally a troll.
Yeah.
And normally I'm like, come on, I hate these accounts, but that's fucking hilarious that he got that many different wrestling journalists to actually report on it.
Especially like that, I feel like that's a fairly noticeable error, but like a fairly noticeable difference with the M and the T. But yeah, that's amazing.
I mean, it's fucking hilarious. And I knew it was, the tweet is so fake. It's like, oh, Malachi asked for his release because, he's being like underused in AEW. Like he was used so much better in WWE. Now he just looks like a jackass. It was something like that. It was something weird, like I'm paraphrasing, but
like an actual opinion. Yeah.
Right. It was clearly something that Meltzer would never say.
Right.
And I'm just like, I cannot believe that got people tricked, basically.
Yeah.
But anyway, we're going to change up the format here. We're going to start off with the all-out predictions instead of ending the show with it. And we're kind of going to go through it a little quickly rather than one by one, because there are 14 fucking matches at All Out this weekend, and I'm excited for it. But man, this crowd's going to have a tough time staying hot the entire time. I mean, and not to mention GCW is running 4 shows this week, and I think it starts tonight.
Oh, Jesus. Yeah.
Yeah. Like, so they have a show, let's see, I think it's tonight. They have a show Friday night. They have a War Games show on Saturday, which I actually think they have a day show on Saturday also. So I think it's 5 altogether. And then on Sunday morning, they have Effie's Gay Brunch, which is another show featuring all LGBTQ plus like wrestlers, which I think that's fucking awesome. Like, I think that's cool. Yeah. I think it's cool as shit. I might get tickets to that. I'm going to the War Games one on Saturday, which
you are. That's awesome.
I don't know if I'm gonna be able to watch most of the matches though. GCW can get in brutal.
Yes. Yeah. You get the one thing you can't say about Janela or Lauderdale or any of the talent, man, is they do not give a fuck. They're gonna go all out.
No, for real. No pun intended.
All out every time. Yeah. Yeah. no pun intended for the weekend. Like, dude, they're gonna give their all, man. That's a passionate group of folk.
Dude, they really is. And I'm wondering if Moxley's gonna show up to one of the shows since he's the GCW world champion. I'm assuming he's going to. especially since Cardona said he's going to make an appearance on Saturday night at the War Games show. And like the main event of the War Games, I forget who else is in the match, but the Briscoes are in that War Game match.
Oh, wow. Yeah.
Yeah. So it's going to be, I'm excited. I'm very excited.
That's awesome, man.
So yeah, 14 matches all out. It's a long day of wrestling on Sunday, and I cannot be more excited. I'm gonna start off 3 pre-show matches, or what they call it, the 0 hour. Isn't that what they call it?
0 hour. Yep.
Which is so smart because this is how pre-shows should be done. Great matches. They make you buy the pay-per-view. They sell that pay-per-view just even more. And these 3 matches are great.
The match quality back in the day wasn't great on the free-for-all always, but I appreciated it, right? Like I was like, oh, this is great. Like we're getting the night started. It just felt like a little extra something. They've perfected this pre-show though, AEW has, because they put on shit that matters.
Right. And I agree with you. The free-for-alls like back in the day weren't great, but I think because the free-for-alls were kind of started before like Sunday Night Heat was around, right?
Yeah, yes. When Sunday Night Heat came around and was its own thing. Yeah, that was a great lead-in.
Sunday Night Heat was fucking awesome because like they would actually have great like show. Stone Cold and The Rock like come out like on that before the pay-per-view, and it's like you don't see that at all anymore. I miss shit like that. I wish AEW kind of utilized something like Sunday Night Heat and get people to buy it more.
Yeah, for sure.
Well, let's start it off. All out 0 hour first match, FTW Championship, Hook versus Angelo Parker, or Cool Hand Ange Angelo Parker. I mean, it's gonna be a squash.
Yeah,
I'm going Hook.
Yeah, a straight squash. Hook for sure.
Second match. It's just like there's nothing else to talk about it, but I will give Angelo Parker a lot of credit for the promos he's been cutting, which is, I don't know if you saw Rampage this past week, but when Hook cut, like they interviewed Hook and he walked away and Daddy Magic and Cool and Ange walk in. He goes, where'd he go? Where'd he go? And she's like, he literally is standing right over there. He just walked away. And they're acting like he's scared. He's like, oh, he's too scared. He doesn't want to taste. It's fucking great. Like
Daddy Magic is fantastic, which we've talked about before, but he's so good, man.
And he's gonna be like the next Jerry Lawler in terms of like color commentator for like a wrestling show. Like he's good on Dark Elevation, like really good.
Yeah.
Next up, we have the AEW All Atlantic Championship, Pac versus a returning Kip Sabian. This is one of the matches I'm looking forward to the most, I think, this weekend, because I think Kip Sabian has a lot to prove. And I think he might win.
I could see them pulling it just because of I mean, the Sabian story has been going on for a year almost, right? I mean, it's been a while. It's
longer than that. I think it's actually like a year and a half.
Yeah. Probably even longer. Yeah, I could see them doing it. But it also feels a little weird. I don't know. If I were to pick shenanigans in any match, this one is one of the top ones that I would expect maybe some shenanigans. Oh boy. I'm gonna go Pac, but I don't feel great about it. Yeah, I don't feel great about it. And I'll tell you what, like I am excited to see the kind of revamp for Kip Sabian. It was in a weird story for a long time, and I think this will show people what he is.
I agree. I totally agree. Yeah. And that's like, God damn, do I want to change my pick? Just like thinking about it. Because this is your first title defense, isn't it?
It is. Wow. Title defense.
It's gonna be a transitional championship. On the big show.
I hope not.
Fuck. I kind of want to change it to Pac. You know what? Yeah, I'm doing it. Pac. I'm going Pac. The more I think about it, AEW doesn't do quick title runs, and Pac, that's his first title in AEW. Yeah, he ain't losing it, which is kind of. I don't want to see Kip lose on his first match back.
I know.
Fuck that match. Anyway, and then finally, what I'm assuming is going to be the main event of the 0 hour. We have Tomohiro Ishii. I cannot pronounce
Ishii.
Yep. We're just gonna go Ishii versus Eddie Kingston. Eddie Kingston, I think, is completely winning this match.
I definitely think so. But oh, holy cow! We got it. Our big meaty men slap and meat match. This is the one, fellas. This is gonna be whew, this is gonna be a brawl.
What, you don't think the big meaty men slapping meat isn't going to be Jungle Boy and Christian Cage?
I mean, that it might be.
But so let's touch on this a little bit since we're at Eddie Kingston. The original plan for All Out was supposed to be Eddie Kingston versus Spanish God Sammy Guevara. Apparently, Eddie Kingston got upset with something that Guevara said during a promo on Dynamite, calling him fat, basically, and Kingston got offended by it. And Kingston apparently took a swing at him, and rumors are that he knocked Sammy Guevara out backstage. What's your thoughts on this?
Well, there is a longer term thought that pops up to me that I'll talk about in our bold predictions section. But you know, the short term here is that the way that that they made it sound, I kind of had read Sean, I think it was Sean Ross Sapp who had posted the like kind of full piece of it. The way they kind of said it was like, it's the Jericho it's the Jericho thought process behind a promo, right? It's the don't call your opponent something that you can't recover from, basically, right? So like, if you call me fat and you beat me, all you did was beat a fat guy. If you call me fat and I beat you, then you let a fat guy beat you. Like, so it's the whole like, don't do things like that, right?
Yeah.
And I think that they clearly didn't communicate, and it sounded like that they didn't even use the full promo that he cut. Like they were able to edit it because it was taped. But
I didn't think about that. Did he say some other fucked up shit? Like,
right. So I don't know, but I think it was poor communication. I certainly understand Eddie being pissed about it, like personally, especially if he's like confronting him and he's just like blowing him off, which is reasonable considering what we know about Sammy. So yeah, I mean, yeah, I don't know.
I feel like Guevara's gotten like, I don't mean this in a disrespectful way, but I feel like he's just gotten such an ego because he knows how good he is. And it kind of has like taken over, like in a way. And in a weird way, he kind of did the same thing. This is just, people are going to make fun of me for this, but he kind of did it the same way when he won the BTE championship on Being the Elite. And he took that title and he took it to his show and kind of killed that title. That title had like a lot of, as far as goofy and as dumb as it is, it's supposed to be a joke title. It had a lot of momentum behind it when he won. And like he killed that title, like completely killed it. And the same, very similar, almost did it again to the TNT title. Like he didn't know, like he's just like, I'm the champion, fuck you. And it's like, what else is there to your title reign? Like he put on phenomenal matches, but other than that, it's like, who are you? And it's like, what is your gimmick right now? And that's they put him right back with Jericho, which is like the best thing for him in a sad way, because it's like, we need somebody's got to figure out what to do with him at some point. Like, and I don't know. I just feel like going right back to Jericho's group again. It's just kind of like, they clearly don't know what to do with them because they've kind of tried a few different things and all the things haven't worked.
Yeah. And I think there's a lot, frankly, to be put on Sammy for that. But I also think there has been a little bit of like, what do we do with him? Right. And I think there's been some, when all of this stuff went down, first glance with Ty, like it was like, well, what is he supposed to be? Because he was like this white meat baby face after he split right from the Inner Circle. But like, again, because everybody knows everything about everything, because we're not back in the good old days, like then real life spills over, and it's like, we don't want to cheer for this seemingly an asshole, right? Like based on all of these things. And then but they kind of did the Roman Reigns, obviously not nearly as long, but they were like, nah, we'll kind of push through it. And I think that also helped kill that momentum a little bit.
Right.
But
I just love the people on Twitter that are like, oh, ever since Cody left, AEW's just been in shambles. And I'm like, were you guys not around like the whole last year of Cody's like run in AEW when he was involved in like a shitload of drama backstage? Like, what?
Yep.
I hate people. I just don't like
and
people.
just also, you aren't actually watching the show, because if you were,
Right.
you'd know the quality that is being put on.
Right, exactly. 100%. That is 100% nail on the head. Like I was arguing with somebody today because somebody said Julia Rose. Who the fuck is Julia Rose? Julia Hart. Who's Julia Rose? Oh, she's the girl that showed her boobs at the World Series game. That's who it is. Isn't it?
Oh, okay. Yeah, it is. I was like, because I'm in my head, I'm thinking Julia Fox, and I'm like, nope, that's not who he's talking about. And I'm like trying to like cycle through all the Julias,
Fun fact: she followed me on Instagram before she did that thing at the World Series. So
that's awesome.
Little tip of the hat, but I don't think she follows me anymore. But Julia, I was arguing with somebody today because they said Julia Hart was never spat in the face by Malachi Black with the mist. I'm like, are you serious? That was like a pretty long, drawn out story.
Huge thing. Yeah.
Right. It's like, buddy, I don't know if you're trying to troll me or what.
Yeah.
But man, you just kind of look kind of dumb. Like,
right.
But anyway, now let's get into the actual pay-per-view All Out. Let's start with this strange kind of match, which I'm happy I get to see, but at the same time, it kind of came out of nowhere. And it's a 6-man tag match: Wardlow and FTR versus Jay Lethal and the Motor City Machine Guns. I understand why they're doing this match, because FTR has gone on record to say they were basically the last team that they wanted to wrestle, or they're like one of the last teams they haven't wrestled yet that they really want to wrestle. And so it's finally happening at All Out, and I feel like this is like a makeup for like, hey, sorry, you're not wrestling the Young Bucks for the winner take all titles, because in my opinion, this is one of the few things like I've actually disagreed with Tony Khan on, is not having FTR and the Young Bucks on this show for all the titles. And fuck, it could have main evented the show. But at the same time, I trust Tony Khan, because everybody was saying the same thing last year about Kenny Omega and Christian main eventing the show over CM Punk's return. And it's like, Tony Khan was like, there's a reason. And Tony Khan was like, I guarantee you at the end of the show, you're not even gonna like remember you even were upset about it.
You cared about that.
Was 1,000% correct. And he's kind of doing the same thing this year.
Yeah.
So this match, I mean, it's got to be Wardlow and FTR, right?
Yeah, it's got to be. I just can't see like what value there is in putting the Motor City Machine Guns over. It just wouldn't make sense to me. And Wardlow, I mean, it's Wardlow. He's untouchable right now. So I can't see them losing. But it's gonna be a good one. Good one.
Yes, it is.
A lot of talent in that match.
Yep. This pay-per-view, I mean, I understand with all the injuries and everything that has happened over the summer, and like it has thrown a wrench in the plans altogether. I mean, the trios finals was supposed to be the Elite versus Undisputed Era, basically. And now Bobby Fish is no longer with AEW, so we'll probably never see that match. And has that been weird to you? Like how he's kind of come out of nowhere and just been like, fuck AEW, basically. Like, I'll go to war for Triple H. And
yeah, it's like he randomly started a podcast, didn't know that at all. And it was like literally his first episode where he basically said, I would go to war for Triple H, and like done. Like that was so weird. Very bizarre.
It makes me think that he was definitely one of the wrestlers they reached out to come back. And the rumor is that Danielson, Swerve, and who was the other one? There was apparently
Adam Cole.
4. It may have been Cole. I think it was Cole, actually. I think, yeah. I don't know why I had so much trouble thinking of that. But apparently it was those 4. And 3 of them, Danielson, Swerve, and Adam Cole, apparently went to Tony Khan and were like, hey, Triple H is reaching out to us. Like, WWE's reaching out to us. Like, we all basically told him, like, go fuck yourself in the nicest way possible, but like we're happy in
Yeah.
AEW, like we're not leaving.
Yep. Yeah.
And I respect them more for doing that and being like, you should know this. And do you think they're going to continue it? Do you think there's going to be a lawsuit coming?
I think it would be a waste of a lawsuit because the whole thing is like the contract tampering laws in the United States are really not as like broad like that.
Right.
The reason things like that happen in the NFL is because it's all under one organization. It's
right
managed in that way. And so there's a way for you to do that because they're all employees of the same organization, essentially.
Mm-hmm.
But that's not the way that obviously WWE and AEW works. So I don't think there's gonna be a lawsuit, but I do think I think court of public opinion is really important to WWE right now, and I do think that they'll probably back off because of that.
Yeah. I don't think they can face any more bad publicity at this point. I mean, I think it's on a pretty tight thread.
It's already shaky. Yeah.
Like Vince could shrug some things off. I don't think Triple H has the mental capacity to just shrug it off, you know?
No, not at all.
Man, fuck, it's just such bullshit. Like that pissed me off when I heard that. I was like, fuck WWE. Like, god damn it.
Yeah.
Started to like him again. Now I just don't again.
Yep, I get it.
Next, All Out Casino ladder match winner receives a future AEW World Championship match. We got Claudio Castagnoli, Wheeler Yuta, Penta El Cielo Miedo, Ray Phoenix, Rush, Andrade El Idolo, Dante Martin, and a mystery opponent. First of all, reading all those names in that order sucks. Just trying not to stutter through any of that.
Yeah, totally.
This match is going to be fucking insane.
But
who do you think is the mystery person?
So I think this feels like a bit of a cop-out answer to start, because what I'm going to say is I think it's either it's got to be with the rest of this group. It's got to be a worker, or it's someone who's not a worker at all. You know what I mean? Like you can't have someone in the middle. You know what I mean? Coming back here for this match. So, man, like it doesn't make sense if like this is where Wyndham would debut. You know what I mean? Like that doesn't feel right. But man, you know who I'd like it to be, who's been getting some shine on Dark, is AR Fox. That's who I'd like it to be.
Dope. That would be dope.
I don't think it's gonna be him, but that'd be my preference if I had a choice.
Shit, just for the sake of this match, just to watch all the crazy shit he can do, I would like Sammy Guevara to be in the match, honestly. Like,
why not?
Just to watch him jump off a ladder. But it's, in my opinion, it's either going to be Samoa Joe or Adam Cole. That's if Adam Cole's cleared. But I'm more leaning towards Samoa Joe to be in the match.
Joe makes a lot of sense, and that Joe and Claudio stare down will be real nice,
right? Oh, that's gonna be so good. But the thing is, I see the match ending with Rush like getting ready to win, and he lets Andrade climb up the ladder, and Andrade is gonna win. That's my pick.
Andrade was actually my pick as well. I hate that we're picking the same person in a big match like this, but yeah, Andrade is my pick. And I don't know if it'll be exactly like you say, but it makes a lot of sense if it does go that way. Or I could see Rush like sacrificing himself to take someone else out so that Andrade can get up there. Yeah, definitely. That's what I've been thinking. And yeah, I as much as I hate to agree, I think I'm going to go Andrade as well.
You know what's going to happen, right? Dante Martin's going to win the fucking match. Like, it's going to be one of those like swerve moments that just completely throws you off guard. It's like, holy shit. And he's just going to get beat on like a dynamite. Like, yeah. God damn it. That's totally going to happen. All right. Next up, we got Bryan Danielson versus Chris Jericho. I love both these wrestlers, but this is one of the least. This is like a match that I don't really care about. Like, and I mean that that I am excited for it, but looking at the whole card,
look at the card. Yeah,
fucking wild. Like
literally two of your Mount Rushmore wrestlers. Isn't that
yes,
insane?
right, right.
Yeah.
Like now, if you add in the 0 hour, it's not the match I'm least looking forward to, but it's like
Sure. Yeah.
on the actual pay per view, 100%. Like
Yeah.
I'm more excited for Jade Cargill and Athena
I
over
actually
this
think it's gonna
match.
be really good. Yeah.
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 And this is one of those matches where I could see it going either fucking way, but I'm picking Danielson because I think Daniel Garcia fully turns on Jericho. I think this is Tony Khan has an issue while not striking while the iron's hot. I feel like he's starting to see that, and the fans are starting to get kind of angry about that. I feel like you're going to start seeing a little shift in like the way he books some shows because he does listen to the fans, like when the fans complain about something like that.
Yep.
And this is one I totally think he's striking while the iron's hot, and I think Garcia is going to fuck over Jericho, and Danielson will win. What do you think?
I think that is the most likely scenario for sure. However,
Ooh.
I think I am going to go the opposite way, and what I'm going to predict
Jericho?
because what I'm going to predict is as Garcia's piece in this match is that he kind of reluctantly comes down with the rest of the group, the rest of JAS, and they beat him down. And as they're beating him down, that distracts Danielson, and then Jericho picks up the win. That's what I'm going to go with. That Jericho wins by outside distraction, and but Garcia definitely plays a role in it.
Have you listened to the Talk is Jericho with the whole like Jericho Appreciation Society on it, and like kind
I
of
haven't
explain
listened
like
to that
how?
one yet.
Oh
No.
my! Highly recommend it. It's kind of hard to listen to at some parts because they're clearly only using like 2 mics, so it's like
Yeah.
it's kind of hard to hear some people sometimes. But absolutely hilarious. Number one, but number two, they talk about how Daddy Magic and Angela Parker were basically saying like, yeah, we thought we were gonna like lose Garcia like literally like 2 weeks before this was formed because we thought they were gonna pair Garcia with Brian Danielson and Moxley in the Blackpool Combat Club, which apparently that was the original plan. And Jericho went to Tony Khan and convinced Tony Khan not to do it because he thought it'd be hilarious to have an actual technical pro wrestler in the group, and which was hilarious.
Yeah.
And that's when like Wheeler then was the second choice and blah blah, and like everything came about. And apparently Daniel Garcia was very upset and like just sad about like not being able to partner up with his idol and like his hero.
Right. Yeah.
I thought that was absolutely hilarious.
That's really funny. That's amazing. Yeah.
Yeah. So you're going Jericho.
Yeah, it's bold, but you got to be bold to defend the title. So
that's fair. That's true. Next up, we have House of Black versus Darby Allin, Sting, and Miro. I'm just excited to see Malachi Black and Miro like getting a moment to shine.
It's time. Yeah,
it's time. Like I think after All Out, you push those two to the fucking moon and don't look back. Like for real, like don't look back. And I know Malachi's been dealing with an injury. Miro was doing a TV show, and I think he had like a minor injury, like in the middle of summer.
Right before that, yeah.
But Darby Allin and Sting have never lost. They've never lost as a team. Is this their first loss?
It's another one, which just goes to show the booking power, also, right? Like, is like, man, this really could go either way, and it builds story on either side, and there's obviously history with both teams that really plays into this. Oh man, I am gonna say this is the one. I think House of Black does it, and they're the first ones to get that. I don't know. I guess Darby probably takes the fall. He's pretty invincible when it comes to that, but Sting could too, of course. But I don't think you pin Miro, but maybe. It wouldn't make sense to me, but I think this is it. I think House of Black wins.
I also think House of Black is going to win, and I think personally, I think Sting is going to take the fall to like put over Malachi a little more, and I think Miro just goes bad shit crazy after the match and beats the shit out of both the Sting and Darby. I mean, they've only wrestled like one time for the TNT title, right?
Yep,
They never
that's
had
right.
like a full true like feud. I could
Mhm.
totally see Darby and Miro feuding for like the next like month or so.
Yeah, absolutely.
Like you have Sting maybe go away for a little bit because Miro beats the shit out of him, or vice versa. You just have he beats the shit out of Darby to where he just terrorizes Sting for the next several weeks.
Sure.
I
Yeah.
almost would go that direction because you just be like, oh fuck this motherfucker. Like for
Yeah.
real, like that would actually be kind of awesome. Does Lana debut this Sunday?
Hmm. Hmm. See, I originally I was going to say no because I thought maybe it's like particularly if your plan is what they go with and he turns there, like I think it makes more sense kind of story wise for it to like happen on Dynamite, right?
Right.
Um, but then I was like, but maybe that's another like additional swerve. Like Lana's coming down, you may think that they're going to win,
Mm-hmm.
and yeah. Um, so I'm gonna say yes. I'm gonna say yes.
Well, all right. We're halfway through the matches. Jesus Christ, what a fucking card. This is one of the harder ones to predict. Like Forbidden Door was hard. This might
Yeah,
be harder. This
I
might
think
be harder
so.
because everything was so thrown together last minute because of all the
Yep.
injuries and shit. All right, next up, let's go to Jade Cargill versus Athena for the AEW TBS Championship. Um, but this match was supposed to be Jade Cargill versus Chris Statlander until she tore her other ACL. I mean, fucking
Brutal.
terrible luck.
Yeah.
And the last time she tore ACL, she was out for a full year. Seems like it's going to be the case again, unfortunately. It does seem like Chris Statlander was going to be the first person to beat Jade Cargill for the TBS championship. Do they do it with Athena now instead?
I don't think so. And not because I don't think they'll wait for Statlander. Um, I mean that could be cool, right?
Mm-hmm.
But I don't think they do that. But I don't think Athena wins it this time. Like I just for some reason I maybe it's just there's not enough juice or and not that it's been a bad program. It hasn't. It's been good. But I just feel like it's not quite to the boiling point, I
I
guess.
agree.
You know, so no, I think Jade walks away with it.
I'm also going Jade. And everything you just said, I 1,000% agree with, and I totally think that's the reason why. Just don't think it's time yet. I really like Athena, but to me, she's still missing a certain something, and I can't place my finger on it. It's kind of like what we talked about with Wheeler Yuta. It's like he was missing
Yep.
that one extra piece to put him over the edge, and it ended up just being a fucking hard fought match against Moxley and
Yep.
Danielson. Like, and it
Yep.
literally was like, damn, all right, he's actually just a new Danielson, basically.
Yeah.
Um, and I don't know, she's just there's just something not there, and I don't know what
I
it
agree.
is.
Yeah, and it isn't like she's not a terrible promo.
No, not at all.
Um, she is a great in ring worker. So it's
Mm-hmm.
yeah, it's like an intangible is missing. Yeah.
Yeah, it's weird. It's like you can't place your finger on it. It's kind of I felt the same way about Chris Statlander, and then all of a sudden it was like she just took it up another notch, and it was just like, holy
Yep.
shit, there it is. Like
Yeah.
it just it's so weird in wrestling how that works sometimes. Where it's like you hear The Rock talk about it a lot. It's like it's the it factor, but you
Yeah.
don't know what that it factor actually is. You just kind of have to feel it, and it's like
Yeah.
to me that makes the most sense of like describing that like last piece that a
Totally.
wrestler needs
Yep.
in a
Totally.
weird way because it's literally just nothing. Like,
Yeah. No. Totally. Totally makes sense though.
next up, Ricky Starks versus Powerhouse Hobbs. Um, I'm so happy this is on the pay per view. I thought for sure they were gonna do it on a Dynamite when they said they're doing it all out. I'm like, fuck yes,
Yep.
like
Same.
this deserves to be on it. This has so much like story behind it. Um, and this is another match that could just go either way. How do you see this match playing out?
I see I see them jumping into it right away. Like, I don't think this is going to be a walk around and tie up type of match. I imagine Ricky goes flying again at him, and we just kind of hit the races, right?
Mhm.
Yeah, I think it's going to be a wild match. AEW does these things where they sometimes pay homage to wrestling history, but with little tweaks, right? And
Mhm.
Ricky is coming into that almost that like white beat baby face type of role. And sometimes they pull the WWE and sometimes they pull the WCW version of that. I'm going to say they pull the WCW version and Hobbs wins.
Ooh. So here's my thing on the match. As of right now, I'm going with Ricky Starks. I think Starks totally gets it. And like you said, they're gonna do this is the most generic babyface versus heel match, I think, on the entire card.
Yep.
Maybe you could say Christian and Jungle Boy, but at the same time, that's just on another level of just
Right. Yeah.
animosity and like
Yeah.
hatred.
Yeah.
But like
Yeah.
this is pure face heel. And for me, it depends on what happens on Rampage. If
Mhm.
Starks is clearly going to win on Rampage, but if Hobbs comes out and beats the shit out of Starks, I think Starks definitely wins at
Yeah.
Sunday. But if Hobbs comes out and Starks gets the better of him, I think Hobbs is definitely going to win. So I might change my pick come Sunday or Saturday at
That's
least.
fair. Yeah. No, that makes sense. Yeah, I get that for sure.
Because again, it could totally go either way.
Yeah.
And I think this is one story that AEW does a really great job of not doing the stereotypical, oh, if he went over 3 days prior, then the other guy's going to go over at the pay-per-view. They don't do that a whole lot. They actually he
Mm-hmm.
was just won over 3 days ago. He's going to go over again at the pay-per-view to throw the crowd off. This is one I think they actually follow through with. Whoever goes over on Friday night will
Yeah.
lose Saturday
Yeah.
or Sunday
night. I think that makes sense.
Mm-hmm. All right. Next, let's go to the grudge match. Jungle Boy, Jack Perry versus Christian Cage. It's got to be Jungle Boy. It's got to be.
It's got to be Jungle Boy. I think we see double blood. But yeah, it's Jungle Boy for sure. This is going to be a fun one, man. This has been a good story.
Yes, it has.
And Christian, we love Dick Christian. So it's
the best.
been good, man.
It's
good.
The absolute best.
And he's unshackled now.
Right?
He gets to not only be a dick, he doesn't have to censor himself at all.
Right? Dick Christian is the best form of Christian ever. Like even when it was like in WWE when he wasn't like unshackled, like it was good, but this is fucking incredible. Like absolutely agreed. Incredible. Yeah, I think Jack Perry wins unless I really hope they don't do like a big show type thing with Luchasaurus where he keeps flip-flopping between face and heel. That's agreed. That's in the back of my head of like, is he gonna fuck over Jungle Boy? Like, don't make this. That is like one worry I have for this whole show. Is like, please don't overbook this match. Just
it doesn't need it now. And I think you like whatever you do, you can still extend this if you want. Like it's pretty easy to jump back into it. And if that's the catalyst to it, then maybe do that at Dynamite. I would not do that here.
No, I 100,000% agree. All right, next, let's go to, let's see, we have 4 more matches left. Let's go to, I jumped out of order, so I lost my spot. Let's go to the AEW Tag Team Championship. We have Swerve in Our Glory, Keith Lee and Swerve Strickland versus the Acclaimed Anthony Bowens and Max Caster. As much as I want the Acclaimed to win this match, they definitely are not going to win this match.
Yeah, our favorite new age outlaws are not going to get this one. But I could see them coming back to this one down the road with a push for the Acclaimed and maybe they finally get one over. But this week, Swerve in Our Glory.
The only way I see the Acclaimed winning is if Swerve finally turns on Keith Lee But if I'm booking this, I wouldn't have Swerve turn. I would have Keith Lee turn.
I agree. I was gonna say that same thing.
Mhm.
I think that's the way you go. Talk about a swerve. But I would too. I think that makes sense.
Just make him this fucking monster heel, have him go on a tear, and then you could
He's
do.
Bockwinkel if you do that,
Mhm,
right? Like he's the educated, like he's Bockwinkel, he's Jericho in 2010, like he's the educated like psychopath.
mhm. And like the way he cuts, he doesn't have to cut like his promos any differently. He can still talk like that. Just if he changes his appearance up a little bit, he could
Yeah.
be a fucking dick, like
Yeah.
big
Yeah.
times, like just douchebag asshole that like
Yep.
Jericho was in 2010, like you said.
Yeah. Yeah.
I would. That's why I hope Keith Lee's the one that turns heel, not Swerve, because Swerve
Yeah.
is like really getting over like with the fans now. Before it was
I,
totally all Keith Lee. Now I feel
yep.
like it's starting to flip a little bit.
I agree. Like he's just cool, man. Like
Yep,
he's you know what I
he
mean? Like he's
is.
just the epitome of cool.
It's his house, man.
Yeah.
Next we have the tournament finals for the inaugural AEW World Trios Championship. I am so happy they are bringing a trios title. These matches that they do, and I think they have a trios title in New Japan.
Yeah. They
Um,
do. They have two, I think, because they had the never
that's
six
right.
man, and I
Never,
think they
yeah.
have the IWGP too. Yeah.
Um, AEW has mastered. We've talked about this before. AEW has mastered the 6-man tag match. Absolutely
Yep.
mastered these matches, and the reason why they're so good at it is because they're basically just doing PWG matches on
Yep.
television now
On the big scale. Yep.
Yeah. And PWG matches they're so popular in California that celebrities who aren't even wrestling fans would go to those shows because of
Yep.
matches like that, because they're just so
Yep.
entertaining. They're over the top, they're goofy, but at the same time, they're telling a story, and like they bring out so much emotion at the same time. Like if you can, Young Bucks have mastered that type of match to where
Oh
they
yeah.
can make you feel all these emotions wrapped in one. To me, that's why, in my opinion, they are the greatest tag team of all time. I don't think it's even close. Like that's, I will always say they're the best. And I think they will face Dark Order and Hangman in the finals.
For sure. Yeah. Yeah,
I'll be
with
shocked
them
if it
playing
wasn't.
out the Hangman. Yeah, if with them playing that out this week too, I thought they might push it till Rampage, and then they popped it in. But with them playing that up already, I'm like, yep, we're good. That's where we're going.
And here's my other thing though: if the best friends somehow win this match on Friday night at Rampage, Hangman is now my pick to win that casino ladder match, to set up him versus the person that I think is going to win the main event.
Yeah, yeah, I don't hate that at all. I do think, I do think that it is the Dark Order that get in there. With Hangman, the story writes itself, right? But yeah, I don't hate that like alternative either. If that's the way it goes, and that match would be good too. I mean, that's a Japan classic right there. So if you throw the best friends in there, but yeah, I think Dark Order, and I think that either way the Elite win.
You think the Elite wins?
I do.
I think the Dark Order is going to win. I think Dark Order and Hangman win. I don't know why. I just have this feeling of like, I feel like if they don't let Hangman win this match, or fuck, does Hangman turn on Dark Order and joins the Elite? Because clearly Undisputed Era and the Elite's not happening anymore. So why not keep them heels? And I mean, they're better. Yep. I mean, I think they work better as heels. Yeah, I'm going with the Elite. I think that's happening. I think that's happening for sure.
I do too. I do too.
Oh, shit. I didn't even think about that until literally like just now. Like, oh, Hangman's turning.
We're talking through it. Yeah.
Yeah. Oh, that kind of makes so much sense in like recent weeks of like being the Elite too, with the way like their segments have been. Like, it's kind of been like, I'm kind of like, Hangman's kind of been like, you guys got this. You're a group. You don't need me. Like, he's totally going back. Motherfucker.
I think so. I think so.
All right. God damn. I love AEW. Anything can happen. It's It's
Yeah, it's
literally
awesome.
can't miss television. Like they literally
Yep.
brought it back. Like
Yep. Agree.
next we have the Fatal 4-Way match for the interim AEW Women's World Championship. Tony Storm versus Dr. Britt Baker, DMD versus Jamie Hayter versus Hikaru Shida. I think Tony Storm. My pick, my sleeper pick though is Jamie Hayter. Like
I want it to be Jamie Hayter. It's
mhm.
going to be Tony Storm. That is like, yeah, it's like the head and heart pick, right? Like in my heart, I really want it to be Jamie Hayter, but I think it's Tony Storm.
Yeah. I would love it to be Jamie Hayter just for the story of her, Britt Baker, and just to watch more wrestling fans just lose their mind that Britt Baker's still featured in a championship like thing.
Agreed.
Just because
Yes.
it's like, guys, she's the most over women's wrestler like in the world. Like there's a reason why she's constantly featured. Like her segments are highly rated. Like they're not doing this like by accident.
Yep.
But at the same time, I also would not be surprised. It's just AEW booking. I would not be surprised if Hikaru Shida wins the interim title.
Sure. Yeah.
Like I could go either way, but I'm picking Tony Storm. You're also picking Tony Storm, correct?
I am. Yeah. And I think the story you set up there is that Thunder Rosa isn't going to be out terribly long, and which is probably why we did the interim, right? And then you have a Thunderstorm match. So yeah, I think that's the direction they're going.
100% agree. Did you by any chance hear what Tony Khan said today during a press like a press junket for All Out? Tony Storm or Thunder Rosa. It's harsh. I agree.
Yeah, but is it that harsh? Because here's the thing, like that's not an insult to me. Like, and maybe I'm wrong, and I'm willing to like hold space if I'm like in the wrong here. But it is not an insult to say that you are not as popular as the most popular person we have.
Right. Not just the person that they have, the most popular person probably in the world. Like one of.
Yeah. Literally the most popular person in wrestling. You don't think that makes sense. And like I think Thunder Rosa is a pretty good promo too. But it's not about that. It's not about her skill in that time. It's about what draws.
I agree.
He's absolutely right.
I agree 100%.
And it's not like, a knock. It's not a knock against the women. Guess what? He gets to say that about basically anyone else on the roster, save like 4 people.
Right.
That's not an insult.
Like, no, it's not an insult at all. And it kind of brings me back to like the Big Swole comment a little bit, because he's like, I just didn't think she was that good. I mean, like she didn't really bring in a whole lot of ratings, and like, you know, the sales just weren't there. And it's like at the end of the day, people I think forget like what we've been saying. At the end of the day, I think people forget this is a business, and like you have to do what's best. Oh, God damn, I don't want to say that line.
Takes authority.
Yeah, no shit.
Fuck. Yeah,
fuck. But you have to do what's best for business, and
you do.
CM Punk is what's best for fucking business. I can't believe I just said it like that.
Yeah, but it's true. And so like, I'm sorry, that's just not an insult. Like maybe you could say it would be an insult to someone like Mox. Yeah, totally. But like, come on. We're grasping at straws because we hate AEW.
Right, exactly. And at the same time too, they didn't find out she wasn't going to be able to compete until like an hour before like her promo, basically being like, I guess we can squeeze it in here. Like, I don't know, like it's very last minute. All right, main event. CM Punk versus Jon Moxley for the AEW World Championship. I'm going with CM Punk. I think CM Punk wins back the title in his hometown, but I think something huge happens after the match. And I think it has the letters of MJF. What do you think about this match?
I think you're right. And I am really struggling with who wins this, because I think maybe in some ways it's a little less hard to pick, but it is like, to me, there is still like a pretty solid chance that Mox wins.
Oh yeah,
and they
100%.
just continue the Mox is the best wrestler in the world
Which I
thing.
would
That
be okay with.
yeah, I like unabashed Dax fan, but I think Mox is overtaking him at this point, and I feel bad about that because Dax has had a stellar year, but I think Mox just the hits are higher and more consistent.
1,000% agree. It's so funny. Since the last time we did this, Dax Harwood was having stellar match after stellar match after stellar match, and I think they've cooled it down to where this is my thought process on this. I think FTR is totally full of shit in terms of like, not that they're actually full of shit, but I think they're keeping kayfabe alive and being like,
Yeah.
why isn't Tony Khan booking us this way? I think Dax is actually hurt, and they're protecting him because they don't want him to get hurt anymore because he's had some shoulder injuries like throughout the summer. They worked up in several of their matches, obviously, but his shoulder is actually not 100%.
Yeah.
Putting him in a 6-man protects him a little bit. And there's a reason why they haven't been wrestling they haven't wrestled in a month. Like there's totally a reason for that. Tony Khan's not stupid. He knows who's one of the most over wrestlers, like what we just talked about. He knows who's one of the most over wrestlers right now and who is bringing them in ratings. There's no reason why he would just keep them off TV for nothing.
Yeah.
And
yeah, you're right.
I totally think they're playing it up like, oh, like, I don't know why we're not doing this. I don't know why we're not doing that. I think that's all bullshit. And I think it's because of that, personally.
Yeah.
And I do agree with you. Jon Moxley is by far, I think, has passed him, like, and then some now. Like,
I think you're right. I didn't want to give it up, but yeah, I have to. I don't think you can argue anything different at this point. For the reason of taking a chance and keeping the title, I'm going to say Mox wins. And yeah, we continue the it's not even a reign of terror. It's just he's awesome. Literally better than everyone. He's the best wrestler in the world. Yeah. So I think we continue that. I think we continue the Mox tour, but I do think that MJF comes back. I think he attacks both people. But I do think you maybe split him off with Punk a little bit first and then jumping back in.
Yeah, I agree.
If we go my way, but I do think your way is very likely that it's Punk wins and then Mox immediately gets that match for both things, the revenge and the title. So,
have you heard about the rumor that's making its way around social media right now about how All Out could end? Because it's it's a wild rumor that I am hoping happens.
No, I don't think I've heard this.
This is purely speculation. Nobody's like, this has not been confirmed. This is not a spoiler or anything, but people are just kind of guessing about what's going to happen next. And this is the first time in a long time I kind of believe it. So Stokely Hathaway has been handing out business cards to like a lot of different wrestlers, right? All of those wrestlers he's handed out cards to are disgruntled and like openly disgruntled on like social media and whatnot, but they're also really good wrestlers. Is Stokely Hathaway paid by MJF to go get like this giant ass group of wrestlers to just take over AEW and beat the shit out of everybody in their path? And a part of me wants to think that that's going to happen. Like, I think that possibly could happen, but also at the same time, it's just so hard. Like, to me, in my head, I think it's way too hard to picture MJF not a baby face when he comes back.
Yeah.
And I do think, I think either way, MJF's returning at the end of All Out. Like they have to make it. Last year, I mean, it set the bar pretty fucking high in terms of ending a pay-per-view. I mean, it's one of the greatest, if not the greatest ending ever in wrestling history to a pay-per-view. I mean, it's up there with the NWO forming, in my opinion. I feel like you have to kind of match that level with a returning MJF in some way, shape, or form.
Yeah, no, I completely agree with you, and I don't think that AEW and Tony Khan are dumb enough to think that MJF is going to get booed even in Chicago.
Mm-hmm.
So that makes me really question that, right?
Mm-hmm.
Because like I think even in Chicago, he is getting super cheered when he shows up.
Right.
And so I think, yeah, I do see him coming back. I do see him attacking both men and being basically an anti-hero. But yeah.
I mean, you have the chance to make MJF like larger than life when he comes
Yeah.
back as the, like you
Yeah.
said, the anti-hero, and like make him like how he once was, like not how he once was, like how Stone Cold was in a way. Like,
Yeah. Yep. Yeah.
he is the heel, but at the same time, he's not a heel. Like, just shit like that, basically.
Yep.
Was MJF paired with Stokely at MLW?
For some reason, I seem to remember like pictures of them together.
That's what
But
I
I'm
thought
like,
too.
but then I'm like, but was it because he managed him? And
Because I know they're like
I
really
don't
good
remember.
friends.
Yeah, I don't remember
Neither
if
do
it's
I.
just like them giving each other shit or if they were actually paired with each other.
That's why I'm kind of like on the side of believing that might be the case of what's happening.
Yeah, definitely.
But anyway, AEW All Out this Sunday, only on the shitty ass Bleacher Report and Fight TV outside of the United States. You lucky fuckers, because Fight TV is awesome. Yeah, All Out. I mean, it's what a stacked card that is. I mean, absolutely stacked. I cannot wait. Cannot wait. You have to come with me one year. Like,
I would love that. Yeah. I'll have to plan better next year. Maybe we'll make that happen. Yeah.
Before we get into what our bold predictions for next year, All Out, Clash at the Castle is Saturday, and I am very much intrigued by two matches on this pay-per-view, and that is Walter versus Sheamus. He's Walter. I don't give a fuck who says it. It's Walter. It will always be Walter. And obviously Roman Reigns and Drew McIntyre, and even Seth Rollins and Matt Riddle, which he got his first name back.
Yeah, they sucked me in this week. That's for sure. That was an unexpected promo exchange that we got with Seth and Matt Riddle, and holy cow, that man, I just feel like you could see both of them like legit tense up
right
for a minute, and I was like, oh boy, like you both hit a spot there, and I don't know what happened, but yeah. Or they're like the best actors of all time, because like you could see it in the face, like it just like snapped. But anyway, yeah, I'm definitely intrigued by that match. I think Riddle wins, just for what it's worth, because I do think it's going to be a like I think it's going to be a brawl. I don't think it's going to be I don't think it's going to be a squash, but I do think I think he wins that one.
I agree.
Yeah, I am very. Oh man, I just the brutality in the Walter and Sheamus match. Yeah.
Oh my god, they're gonna about that. Their chests are gonna be bright fucking red by the end of that match. So like it's gonna hurt to look at just their chest, let alone like what else that match is gonna be.
Yeah.
Who do you think is good? Do you think Walter wins?
I do. Yeah. Because I think Drew wins.
I agree. I think Drew wins. Dude, Drew deserves
I think Walter wins. Yeah. Yeah, I think so.
For having to win your first world championship in WWE in front of nobody at the Performance Center, this is so fucking deserved. And to me, this is honestly the make or break for Triple H for me. It's like, are you going to pull events and have them lose and build this pay-per-view up for nothing? Or like you actually going to make it mean something? I love Roman. Roman is fucking stellar right now, but he's got to drop the titles. Like it's watching Raw without a world title on there. I mean, we've talked about this before. It's so hard to watch. And even with the 3 hours, Raw was decent this past week, except for that fucking ending. I cannot believe that they put the tag titles on them, but it is what it is.
And why do the main event if you're going to do that? It's similar to what we talked about last, with Mox and with Mox and Punk. It's like, why do that in like when you can do it with a more intrigue, right? Like if you're going to do it, just switch your spots up a little bit. You can do that at the top of the the 8 o'clock hour, the
Right.
9 o'clock where you're at, but like you don't do that as the main event if that is the finish.
Right. Right. I just, you have a person that spent 8 years in developmental to main event Raw and win the tag titles. I mean, good for Alea, but at the same time, it's like, that's it.
Right.
That's what you went with.
Yeah.
Holy shit. Like, I don't get it. But yeah, anyway, Drew's got to win, in my
I
opinion.
think so.
And is it for both titles or is it just for one of the titles?
See, that is the thing that actually makes me go, it's got to be Drew, but I think it's both titles, which makes me feel like, oh, are they going to do
Right.
that? And like if it was for one title, I would be 100% sure that Drew was winning. But for both titles, oh man.
See, I think it is. Personally, I think it is just for one title, because if you look at anything WWE's posted, it says Drew versus Roman for the title. It doesn't say for the titles, which I think is just kind of strange that they're not like plural, right? Oh my God. Plural, rise. I can't say the word.
I can't say. I was trying to say to my head, I was like, that's not what that sounds
Plural
like.
rising it. Plural rising. Oh, fuck that word. Either way,
pluralizing?
you know what I mean.
Yes.
Holy fuck, we went 40 minutes already again. Jesus.
It's a lot to talk about. There's a big weekend.
Right? It is a big weekend. But I think Drew wins. Either way, I think Drew's walking out with the titles. And if he doesn't, fuck you, Triple H. You, as somebody called him on Twitter today, you Booker of the Year fraud.
Yeah.
Oh shit. But and then I thought this was maybe happening on Saturday, but I don't think it is. But Tyler Bate on NXT received a phone call from Pete Dunne, and hell yes. Yeah. The last time they wrestled was one of the, I mean, I think it was the match of the year, I think, when they wrestled the last time. Put him in a feud for like several months and just let him go. Yeah. It would be so good. It would be so fucking good. Was the old champion hurt? Is that what happened? Is that why Tyler Bates the champion now?
Yeah. Dragunov. Yeah, he got hurt and gave up the title. I'll say like 2 months ago, maybe, like in real time. I don't know how long in the showtime, because they literally just aired their final episode like today.
Oh yeah, that's right.
So but yeah, he got hurt, and then it was Tyler Bate and Trent Seven in the finals for the title, and Bate won.
I cannot believe that they fired Trent Seven.
Yeah, feels really weird.
Right?
I suppose they could bring him back to NXT Europe, but it felt that was the weirdest one to me.
Yeah, 100%. Like you look at the other like names on that list, and there's maybe like one or two that was kind of like, really? But that was the one I was like, what? I thought Vince was gone. Like that was literally seriously. My first thought.
Yeah, seriously.
Yeah, Clash at the Castle this Saturday at like, it's like at noon, I think, Central Time.
Yeah, I think you're right. Yeah.
Which is nice. People were like, oh my God, fuck WWE. They're going head to head with AEW. And I'm like, first of all, it's on Saturday. Number two, no, they're not. Even if it was on the same day. And there's only like 5 matches on it, which is really weird.
Yeah. It's like those old like glorified house shows that they would do, like Beast in the East, and like, yeah, that's what it feels like.
The first Roadblock, which was just a total house show with like the tiny stage, and but then Moxley and Triple H actually tore the house down in the main event.
It's a good match. Yeah,
that was a good match. All right. Before we continue on with Offended, real quick, I want to shout out our new sponsor, Kaba's Clothing Line. Kaba's Clothing Line, a clothing company that celebrates the individual spirit of people who are unapologetically themselves wherever life takes them. Kaba's, which stands for Crack a Beer and Smile. This is something that's been brewing for a while with my family and myself, and we're excited to get this clothing line out there to you guys. We're going to have a lot of fun with it. We got a lot of cool designs coming out. I hope you guys check it out. It would mean a lot to us if you checked it out. But anyways, Kaba's Clothing, just crack a beer and smile. Make sure to go visit our website at www.justcabas.com. Again, Kaba's Clothing, just crack a beer and smile. This feels like an real episode of Offended. It's normally what I do because the software that I use only records like 40 minutes, also only like 40 minutes of like time. So I have to like
Yeah.
stop and then restart a new one. When we record Mackenzie, there's like 6 of them.
Yeah. Yeah. That's awesome.
So before actually, I have one actually wanted to ask this question before we get into the bold predictions for next year. How would you grade Triple H in terms of booking WWE since he's basically taken over?
Yeah. I would give him a B, potentially a B plus, depending on like how you feel about a couple things that could push you over. Like I think
It's a solid B plus player.
Yeah, exactly. He's a B plus player. Which can we talk about how amazing it was that the knee was called the knee plus? It's just so good. It's so damn good. Anyway, yeah, I think a solid B. I think like before Gargano, like the returns were underwhelming.
Yes. And I love Gargano, but I kind of think he was underwhelming too. Like,
well, they presented him underwhelming. That was a weird choice. That was a very weird choice. Which is not necessarily what they've done with the others. The debuts have been fine, but the people are like, even though I get a kick out of Loomis, I don't know.
I was gonna say when Dexter Loomis is your top return so far, there's kind of a problem there because Karrion Kross is. I cannot get behind Karrion Kross. He's boring as fuck to me, like extremely boring.
I agree. It's yeah. He's like, yeah, he's almost like the inverse Athena, right? It's like you have the wrong it. Like that's the problem, right? Like, you were like fine promo, fine in the ring, but just not there.
Just
yeah.
It's safe to me.
Yeah. Yeah. I think the returns were mostly underwhelming. The only way that Monday made sense was if we got the other big returns, and that didn't happen. So it feels weird. Rumors that Braun Strowman's coming back on Monday. I'm not.
I don't. Yeah, it's
kind of
like that's your big get. Like
he's run his course to me. Like I did enjoy him in his prime, like 100% in that character, but like, yeah, I don't need to see it.
Right, and clearly Bray is like the heavy rumored wrestler that's gonna return to WWE, which I would actually be at this point. I would actually be shocked if he didn't go back to WWE in a way. Like
same.
I actually would be very shocked if he wound up in AEW. Like I would not see that coming whatsoever. I'm like, I am at a point where I'm like 99% sure he's going back to WWE. It is what it is. I mean, if you can wear the mask and you can do all that, why not? Like,
yeah,
take it. And I think it'd be great for him. I mean, even if he goes to the AEW, it'd be great. But it's kind of like you look at these returns that you have for WWE. It's like Dexter Loomis, Johnny Gargano, Karrion Kross, Scarlett, on and on. But then you look at AEW, it's like Adam Cole, CM Punk, Kenny Omega. It's like the levels to this. It's like one's way bigger than the other. And I'm not even trying to say that as just a strictly AEW fan. It's just CM Punk, Dexter Loomis. Like, I wonder which one I'm going to pick. Kenny Omega.
I think you could even throw like something recent in there. You throw Claudio in there. And that's a bigger get than
Samoa
anything
Joe.
that they've done. Yeah. Absolutely.
Like, I mean, fuck, even just returning Danielson, even though he wasn't even out for that long. But like, fuck, Jericho losing weight is a better return than fucking Karrion Kross.
I'm telling you, man, that I am mesmerized. I swear to God, I am mesmerized every time he comes on the screen.
Right?
Like, this man looks amazing.
Dude, I forget how bad he looked until like I watched like an old match or like an old promo. Like there was one on Instagram today where after he won the AEW title and he's walking through the back and he's like, "What's your name? I don't care. Shut up." Like, I was like, "Oh my God, he's fucking huge there." I forgot about it. Yeah.
Speaking of looking huge, did you see the picture of EC3 that was going around?
Yes. Like, what happened, man? Like,
I don't know, man. Is that is steroid belly a thing? I don't know. But
dude, that, to be honest, that looks like he stopped taking steroids and just doesn't work out every day. Because it's like, when you stop, that's what happened to Triple H back in the day. It's like, if you stop taking steroids, you're just gonna be bloated and like you're just gonna be puffy if you don't keep working out on it. Like,
yep.
Yeah, he doesn't look great.
Oh,
he looks like Ric Flair right before he retired at WrestleMania 24.
Yeah. Not a good look. Hope he's doing okay, but
he's controlling his narrative.
That is true. He's not going to have anyone's narrative left to control. They just debuted an Impact, and it's going to be like 4 of them. Like they're not going to have any narrative left.
They debuted an Impact.
They did, yeah.
I saw that they debuted at the NWA show this past week too.
Oh, sorry. That's what I meant. NWA is what I meant. I'm so sorry.
Oh, gotcha.
Yeah.
No, you're good. That's what I was like. They did both. I'm like, oh, god damn it.
I was thinking NWA and I just said Impact.
It wouldn't surprise me.
Well, yeah. But yeah, I don't think they're gonna have enough for their own promotion anymore. All their people are going back. So
yeah. I was so happy I didn't go to that show this past Sunday. I was so happy. Well, number one, NWA. I'm just gonna say, if you want people to go to that show and buy tickets and buy the pay-per-view, maybe don't have Trevor Murdoch and Tyrus main event your show.
Why is Tyrus in any? I mean, why is he wrestling? But like, that's first. But like, main eventing for your title?
And a casual fan is just gonna be like, you mean that guy from Fox News?
That man is 50 years old.
He's 50?
I think he's like 45. I'm probably
holy
like
shit. Even that.
Yeah. Like, what are we doing?
I listened to his podcast with Jericho, and there was some things he kept saying that I'm just like, this dude is making up the story. And you can just tell by Jericho's voice, like, I love Jericho, but he has such a bad fake like interview voice.
Yeah. When he is like skeptical or like doesn't, it's like, oh yeah.
Yes.
Yeah.
And he did that the entire time with Tyrus. Like the entire time. He's like, oh yeah, that's how that won. And I wanted to be, and in my head, I'm like, Jericho was there at that time. He's definitely being like, that did not go that way. I know it didn't go that way.
I just looked it up and I was right. I was closer to being right the first time. He's 49.
Holy shit. I didn't realize he was, why is he main eventing at Jesus Christ? You have Nick Aldis. You have what's his name that was in Aldis's group who's married to the women's champion. I can't think of her name either. But he's fantastic.
I
can't think of
his name right now either, but yeah.
Hope would have been fucking great to finally win. Like, I just kind of mind blown by that decision making.
Yeah.
Fucking wrestling at the chase, and that's what you do.
Yeah, I could not believe that. I could not believe Tyrus in the year of our Lord 2022 being at a main event. What are we doing?
Funk is on a roll. All right, let's get into the bold predictions for next year, AEW All Out 2023. This was your idea. This was a fantastic idea. When you sent me this idea, I was like, yes, it's exactly what I was looking for. That's exactly what I wanted. I made a whole match card. I would like
mine are more like overall thoughts, but yes, we can. Right. I think that's awesome.
I'm gonna run down my match card first because I want to hear your thoughts last because I feel like we'll riff off that. I'm just gonna run through this really quickly. I have 13 matches, so I'm clearly looking at Tony Khan's brain. I'm booking All Out 2023, starting off with Best Friends versus Death Triangle for the Trios title. Hook versus Jungle Boy next.
I like that.
Oh, and just throw this out there. I only have the tag titles and the world title and the women's world title on it because I'm like, anybody could be TNT and TBS champion and All Atlantic
Totally
champion
fair.
by next year. Yeah.
Totally fair. Yes.
So then I had Hook, Jungle Boy. Next I had Eddie Kingston versus Malachi Black in a no disqualification match. Just let those two just fucking go. And I feel like it'd be beautiful. Next I had Jericho and Ricky Starks, because it's just like, that's just money written all over it. Starks reminds me so much of The Rock. Jericho,
Oh man,
The Rock might be Jericho's best opponent ever. Like their feud, it went on forever too. Like it never ended. It was fantastic. Next I have Daniel Garcia, Wheeler Yuta. Just, I mean, no, we saw that at Ring of Honor, but I mean, fuck, do it again. It was so
absolutely.
Good.
Yeah. And like a year of them being potentially in Blackpool Combat Club together, like yeah, really brewing it. Yeah.
Yep. Next I have Andrade El Ilo versus Will Ospreay, because that was supposed to be the match at Forbidden Door that we didn't get. And I was like, fuck it, let's do it at All Out. Next, which I thought this could be for the TNT title, because I feel like Swerve could be your TNT champion at this point. Swerve versus Adam Cole, I think, would just tear the fucking house down. I mean, I feel like that would steal the show, and they would just, I just think that'd be great. I think they would really feed off each other. Then I have FTR as the champions versus Young Bucks, the Hardy Boys, and the Briscoe brothers in a ladder match for the tag titles.
Yeah,
right.
I like that. I like that. Yeah.
Tony Storm defending the women's championship against Jade Cargill. Jade Cargill, I think that would be her culmination, win the title. I think you just let her go on a tear. This next match is my big beady men just slapping meat around. It's Keith Lee, Wardlow, Powerhouse Hobbs, and Miro in a fatal four-way.
Yeah.
Right? And I didn't mean to do this on purpose, but I also have another fatal four-way next. CM Punk, Bryan Danielson, Claudio Castagnoli, and Samoa Joe in a fatal four-way match. The Ring of Honor originals just killing each other. I mean, why not?
Yeah.
The next two are dream matches of mine. The final two, John Moxley versus Hangman. I feel like they would I think they would just, their chemistry, I think, would be fantastic. And then the main event, I think, should be MJF as champion versus Kenny Omega. That's my all out for next year.
That's a stacked card. Yeah. And it's also assuming that there's not additional folks signings coming in and yeah, exactly. So, but like I think it's a stacked card. I think a lot of those things, like I said, I didn't put like a full match card together. A lot of those things kind of are in line with kind of some of my predictions. So the first one was FTR. I said FTR wins the AEW titles at Double or Nothing, which is a long time away, and we may get it at Full Gear, but I think you keep pushing it out, and maybe they lose, or and maybe it's just the AEW title on the line or something, and maybe they lose, and then you go to Double or Nothing, and they win against I think the Bucks at that point. But I have. I have them coming in as champions to All Out and then potentially losing the titles there. I have during the year that Wardlow is going to turn heel.
Dude, he's going to go on a monster fucking run if he turns heel. Run.
Yeah. I think that happens. I maybe mid-year, but I think it happens. And it leads to my main event, which is MJF and Wardlow, but in the roles reversed, and they finally do like the match that they should have had, right? That's
so much better than my main event.
I don't know that it is, but yeah,
I think in story terms,
a lot writing.
I think it is. Like, yeah, dude, I personally think that this was all one giant work by MJF and Wardlow. I think they purposely put on a shitty match to just get out of there and be like, just to play it up a little more. And I think that's pretty fucking realistic that could happen. Like, totally could happen. Yeah. The crowd 100% behind MJF going against this monster champion and Wardlow. Like, damn, I could totally see that happening. That's actually awesome.
Well, thanks. I said sometime within the year Ricky Starks will get an AEW title shot, but I don't think that he challenges at. Yeah, I also had him in like a feud match. Like, I don't think we go back to TNT title. I think he's just like that upper card, but like isn't quite at the top at All Out next year, even if he's had a kind of a pass up there. But I think, after next year's All Out, you really
like just keep
you strap the rocket. Yeah.
To be honest, I could totally see. I feel like Hobbs is probably going to beat Wardlow for the TNT title. I mean, that makes the most sense. I mean, there's no way Wardlow's losing that title without shenanigans like involved, or unless he's wrestling somebody like Hobbs or Keith Lee or even Miro. I mean, just somebody that can match his overall size and whatnot.
Yep.
But it's also at the same time, it's like you could throw that TNT title on Malachi, Andrade, Starks, fuck Kingston, like anybody, Jungle Boy, even Hook. Like AEW has done such a good job of building Swerve. AEW has done such a good job of just building this mid card that's like all of these wrestlers are on the brink of like exploding into the top card. Like, I mean, it's absolutely wild. And to think that fans were literally saying that AEW cannot create stars and like elevate stars, it's like, are you fucking kidding? If you not see Ricky Starks and Powerhouse Hobbs came out of nowhere. And I personally have been a fan of Starks for a while when he was in NWA.
Ricky was great in NWA, but it's not like he wasn't a household name at all.
Right. And like the Acclaimed have become the most over tag team in the world. And they're AEW originals. Wardlow is becoming one of the biggest names in wrestling. Like he's becoming the new Goldberg in a way. And Jade Cargill, Hangman. I mean, fucking who else am I? Daniel Garcia and Wheeler Yuta are like the prime example of like they are the homegrown, and Hook. They're the three of like the homegrown talent that have literally been able to elevate themselves without the help of the independents, even though they were all three on independents at some point in time. So I don't know if Hook was, but at some point in time, Yuta and Garcia were at least on the independents, but nobody really knew who they were until they got to AEW.
It's true.
But hey, they don't know how to build these stars. Fuck it. Throw the world title on Cassidy. I'll be all for it.
Me too.
All right.
And then the last one.
I thought that was your main event.
But just the last two predictions were
shit. My bad.
No, you're good. Is that I think JR is gone by next All Out. I just don't see them sticking with him, and I don't think he wants to be there anymore. Frankly,
no, I don't think. I mean, I will say the past couple weeks I have not noticed him in a good way. Like, haven't noticed him. It's like
that's good.
What if somebody like talked to him like backstage, be like, you have to take it seriously a little bit. You are a commentator.
God, yeah. So used to not having someone screaming in his ears anymore that he just like doesn't add anything. And then the sorry, misplaced this one. Oh, sorry, there's two more. So the FTW title I think gets decommissioned. Like I think they stop using it. Whether they just like Hook gives it back to his dad and is like, I'm going on to something else or whatever. I don't know how you do it. I don't know that Hook loses it necessarily, but like I just can't see them like doing anything beyond Hook, especially with Team Taz gone now.
1,000% agree with that. Like 1,000% agree with that. They just got to be like, Hook's just got to be like, here, this is yours. Not that I don't want it anymore. It's just I don't want it out of the family name or something like that. Basically, that's all you have to do. It's that easy.
Yep, exactly. And then the last one was that I think an AEW homegrown is going to go to WWE within the year.
I also agree with that. I think it's probably going to be Sammy Guevara.
I also think it's Sammy Guevara.
I totally think it's going to be him. And to be completely honest, I feel like he would fit in so much better in WWE than in AEW. That's so weird to say. That is so weird to say. But I feel like,
But I could see Cody just being like, get over here, let's get your life together.
right.
And yeah.
But the thing is, though, does Ty Conti go back because she worked with Triple H and nothing really happened with her?
It's true. Yeah. I don't know. I don't know how she plays it, but I would say yes. I'm gonna say yes, but I don't know.
Mm. But that was, oh shit. That was the thing I wanted to say before we had the cut. The grade I wanted to give Triple H for running WWE right now, I give him like a solid C. Because in my opinion, he's doing the exact same mistakes he made when he was running NXT against AEW. It's this, like, here's these returns, but what's next? And it's like, here's these matches on Raw and SmackDown, but why are we having them? And it's like, they're just kind of thrown together like a little bit in a way.
Kind of where's
like,
the thread?
Yeah. Like the wrestling's been good. It's been good again. Yeah. And Kevin Owens and Sami Zayn are stealing their shows respectively. And it's gotta be, man. They have to be the ones that beat the Usos for the titles, right?
Have to.
Right. Yeah. And I'm almost to the point where I wish that Drew wouldn't win this weekend. And I wish that Sami Zayn would win instead. Push him as the NXT Sami Zayn, let him get his moveset back and let him just go. Sami Zayn is so good. Like, but yeah, to me, it's just Raw and SmackDown are just rehashes of NXT when it was black and gold. It's this, to me, it's the same thing. And it's like, this is what didn't work before. You're not really building any stories aside from Rollins and Riddle. Like, other than that,
the only thing that's felt like that hasn't felt like that is the Sami Zayn and Roman Reigns stuff. And that's, and that feels weird because it's a holdover from before.
Right.
So it's like, where is that coming? Like there is a weird disconnect there.
Right.
And I know I said it after WrestleMania, but Sami Zayn is the greatest sports entertainer in the world. And he's such an unfair talent because he's also so freaking good in the ring.
Dude, right?
Like, it's unfair how good this person is at everything he does.
It was so funny on SmackDown, like when he was, I forget what was he doing? But it's a backstage segment, and the Usos are like covering their mouths because they're clearly trying not to laugh at him because they're supposed to hate him. But then you just look over at Roman, and Roman just doesn't give a fuck. He is totally just smiling and just laughing his ass off at him. I love when they leave that shit in like that. Just makes it more authentic. It just makes it super authentic.
Well, even if you could be in a room with somebody you hate and they say something funny and you're just like, fuck you, man. Like,
it's so true. It's so true. It's like Denny and his fucking movie. Yeah, fuck you, Denny. I haven't forgotten. Anyway, what a wrap up. So much wrestling. There's been nothing but wrestling on this weekend. I mean, Friday night, you have Rampage. If you're in the Chicago area, at Schaumburg, Illinois, at Hoffman Estates, wherever the arenas are at, you have 5 GCW shows. You have 2 AEW shows. You have Clash at the Castle, WWE. Fuck, Peacock's worse than Bleacher Report. Like,
but it is.
But it's just so much wrestling, and it just feels like people I just don't think are realizing it. We're entering that boom. We've been talking about it probably for the last better part of the year that it's almost here. It's almost here. This feels like we are opening the door and like stepping into it now. Like,
I agree. I think this weekend is the perfect weekend for it. Because you do have both shows going at once. And to our neckbeard listeners, sorry, this is the closest you're going to get to WWE and AEW Forbidden Door for at least 2 years.
Yep.
It ain't happening. Not right now.
No.
If ever, but it's definitely not right now. But yeah, this is the weekend to really hit the renaissance.
I totally agree. And that's why I think Drew needs the win and MJF needs to return. Like, you get those two things going, you're in a whole new direction in both shows. And
I agree.
I just think the boom period, it's arrived. you look at the
Yep.
TV ratings for all 3 shows, they've all gone up. All of them have been at least over 1 million. Raw finally hit over 2 million again,
Yep.
and SmackDown's just going up, and AEW again over 1 million, and it's going up. And it's like,
Yep.
this is what we want. We want all 3 of these shows to succeed,
Yeah.
because this is going to bring more eyes to it. Like, it's just fucking
Better for the
wrestling's back.
company, more opportunities for everybody. Like, it's great.
It is. It really
great.
is. Wrestling is back, and it's back in a big, big way. It has potential to be bigger than what it once was in the 90s at a certain point, especially with social media around and everything.
Social media? Absolutely. Yeah. Agree.
Let's go. Let's fucking go. All right. Let's hit him with the 1, 2, 3 finish. Let's get out of here.
Well, this week's 1, 2, 3 finish is we're gonna go a couple of different ways here. The first is to Nick Khan and Stephanie McMahon. Yeah, maybe chill for a minute, just like a minute. All right, like give yourself some time to get in some good graces before you just keep waving your dicks around. Like, I don't even know how else to say it. Like, just chill. Okay.
Just come back to WWE. It's so much better now. My dad does not work here anymore, and I swear it's so much better.
Yeah. Let's maybe give it some time, right? Number 2, Samoa Joe, miss him, and but if he's gonna be out for something, it might as well be for Twisted Metal. I cannot tell you how excited I am for this.
Same.
I freaking love Twisted Metal. I never played the original. I don't think I still have played it, but I played the shit out of Twisted Metal 2. Like, that was my game. Like, that's all I did for like a year.
I have the original Twisted Metal in the old PS1 case. That was like the big box that they came in at first. Yeah, I still have that.
That's awesome, man. That's awesome. Yeah, I'm so pumped for that. So good on Samoa Joe. Yeah, and my number 1 is we haven't talked about Biggie in a little bit, but Biggie seems to be just living his life now and getting things back. Sounds like he thinks it's going to be another year for the evaluation, basically, to see if he can ever wrestle again, and probably do some other things in his life. But he doesn't have his brace anymore, and he basically is just living his life. So good to see that, because that was scary as shit.
Yes, it was. And it's like you said, just see him being like making peace at the fact that he's like, I can walk, and that's all I want. It's like, it's like, good for you. It's like, you won the big one, you won the title, you got it. You got everything you could do, really, in WWE at least. And like, it's a shitty way to go out. Mistakes happen. It is what it is. But good to see him actually in good graces, like 100%.
Absolutely.
All right. That was your third one, right?
Yep.
All right, cool. My first one will shout out to, well, I guess it's not a shout out. I'm just super excited for this weekend, leaving for Chicago. By the time this episode airs, I'll already be possibly on the road. Like, actually, no, I take that back. Episode airs at midnight. Friday morning, I'll be driving to Chicago, getting ready for All Out weekend, getting ready for Rampage, GCW, and then All Out. I cannot wait. It's one of my favorite times of the year. It's also like, it's like the end of summer, basically. Like every year, like All Out's like the last hurrah for summer, basically. And I don't know if it's going to top last year, getting Adam Cole, Danielson, Ruby Soho. I don't know if that's going to top it, but I trust AEW. I feel like something huge is happening at the show, 100%. Number 2, off wrestling for a second. The 1975's new song came out today, and it is fantastic. It is instantly one of my top 5 like new favorite 1975 songs. It's so fucking good. Just sounds like a pop song that came out in the early 90s. I know probably could describe the 1975 a lot by that.
Yeah, but no, but it's a great sound. Yeah, that's awesome.
Yeah, I can't wait. And then next week, when I get back, 21 Pilots here in St. Louis. I'm super fucking stoked for that. But also, we get to do our wrap up again and get to review All Out. But I've had this idea I've been floating around, and I think I messaged you about it. We do a draft of like 20, maybe the 30 wrestlers from any promotion and see how we turn out.
Yeah, I love it.
I think we should do it. I think that should be the next episode, along with maybe the review, or maybe we chop that in half and make it 2 episodes. I feel like the draft's going to be a while.
I think it will too. Yes, we'll get into the weeds for sure.
Definitely.
Oh, I love it though. Yeah, let's do it.
Let's. What a stupid question I was going to ask. My head, I was like, who are you picking first? What to ask him, like, what? Don't watch the show, just listen now. Spoilers. We'll be like WWE and spoil the championship win when they used to do that, when Kurt Angle won the world title.
Oh my God, yes. Yeah.
But anyway, make sure to go follow us at anythingbutcredible.com for all your network needs. You can find all the podcasts there. www.anythingbutcredible.com. Make sure to subscribe, follow, give everybody subscribe, listen. I haven't done this in so long that I'm like completely forgetting what to say.
It's fine. Yeah.
Make sure to go check out the new clothing line that me and my family just started. Cabas, justcabas.com. Make sure to go check it out. We're adding new stuff daily. An Offended shirt will be dropping on the website soon, which I can't wait. It has just a middle finger on it. So
love it.
I've got to talk him into doing a wrap-up one.
Well, yeah, we'll figure something out. It'll be great.
It's just a condom.
Yeah, I mean, of course.
Wrap it up, and on the back it just says it's actually about a wrestling podcast.
I like that, actually. I like that a
lot. Make sure to follow Offended on all social media platforms at Offended Pod. You can follow me on Twitter and Instagram at Trick1042. You can follow Thomas at
Thomas_Ragland, or you can follow the at Your Bliss Pod, but we haven't been doing much in the last 9 months.
I was literally just getting ready to ask him, like, what's the deal with What's Your Bliss?
Yeah, I don't know. The next episode, whenever it drops, is going to be called Backdoor Pilot. And it's going to serve as the pilot to whatever I'm going to do next. So
there you go.
We'll see.
I'm excited. Whatever you do, I'm excited. But I get like that in the summer, especially, where I'm like, I have no desire to like record a podcast unless it's about wrestling. So it's like, I just like, I don't care like right now.
Yeah.
But I know every year after All Out, I'm always like, I'm in the zone again. Let's go.
Yeah.
And I'll get in those grooves. And then if something fucked up happens in my life, I'm like, nah, now I'm good. Like, I don't care about podcasts right now. Let me get this piece of my life back in order. Like,
I get it, man. No, I get it. It's like, I told you before we started, I hope it didn't pick up any of the audio when he was screaming, but like my son like doesn't want to sleep anymore. And so I'm like, dude, I'm not even getting out of his room until like 8:30. And I'm like, I don't have the energy to do this. You know, I'm dealing with nonsense at work. I come home, I deal with nonsense at home. Like, I don't got time to podcast right now. I certainly don't got time to like set up interviews across the world like that. I was in a different zone when that was happening, but not happening now.
Hey, I get it. Like, you know, Garth may shit in the house and I have to go clean it up because he can't, because he's a dog.
Yeah. Dick.
Same thing. Well, anyway, Thomas, thank you as always. And this has been the Wrestling Wrap Up presented by the Anything But Credible Network. We will see you next week for the All Out review.
Peace.
Peace.